Hassan Piker, our favorite tanky champagne socialist, has been nuked from orbit and he is currently absolutely seething. If you haven't watched the H3H3 video and you need some background noise to keep occupied while you're busy or just bored, I highly suggest you watch it. It goes over pretty much everything that you could criticize Hassan for and then some. To give a brief summary, the video goes over some of Hassan's uneducated opinions, terrorist apologia, hypocrisies, and some outright extreme tanky ideologies. From supporting quote-unquote rehabilitation camps to Hassan's apologetic view of terrorist organizations, the video has touched on a lot of Hassan's more insane behavior throughout the year. For those of you who know Hassan, you guys know that what I'm about to say comes at the surprise of absolutely no one, but of course there will always be those who defend this type of ignorant behavior as long as it supports their vague sense of ideals. Whenever any sort of criticism comes Hassan's way, it's always met by what many like to call the Hassan method, which in this case is deny, deflect, and obfuscate. I'm not sure how many of you remember the Willie Mac debate about his own video on Hassan or the various times Hassan has been called out and criticized by other people on the internet, but the things Hassan does, rather than engage with a criticism, is that he denies he ever did anything, deflects the criticism by putting blame or misrepresenting other people, or obfuscates the situation so he appears more favorable in the eyes of his orbit and audience. Of course, rather than properly respond to Ethan's video, Hassan simply decided to maul and seethe over a video he probably hasn't even watched, and it's honestly very entertaining, but also very infuriating to see. But what this really shows is that regardless of how much fair criticism Hassan receives, neither he nor his audience will ever change. Here we have a couple of clips compiled by this Twitter user, Awk20000.
End of the podcast, I was so fucking gracious to him, far more gracious than he goddamn deserves. Like, literally ends the podcast because he can't fucking cut it. Like, he's like, I don't want to talk about politics anymore because people are hurting my feelings when I talk about Israel, and because it kind of comes across like I'm defending Israel, okay? And then everybody goes, oh, you're defending Israel. It's like his whole shtick for the past year has been saying liberal Zionist talking points and then getting mad at everyone when they go, are you a Zionist? And he's like, whoa, this is anti-Semitism. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. What kind of fucking moronic attitude is this? Just don't talk about politics. Just go back to fucking talking about like gooning or Justin Baldoni or whatever fucking new thing is happening online. You're clearly not intellectually equipped enough, and you got fucking deluded by a sex cult, okay? Like, Destiny was able to fucking brainwash you over the course of a year. I'm sorry. You got a child's brain. Go enjoy childish things. The fuck is wrong with you? Why do you have to, like, literally do politics? Your fucking fan base hates it. You're clearly, all the people in your vicinity hate it, and you're still like, nah, I'm the number one guy. I'm the number one politics guy. Okay, dude, there's plenty of fucking dumbasses. Go ahead, have a right-wing, do your little right-wing tilt, I guess.
Here we have Hassan crashing out over being gracious when that simply wasn't the reality at all. As mentioned in the H3 video, and as we have seen in the past through the end of Leftovers, Hassan had some very extreme ideas that really rubbed Ethan and many others the wrong way. So when they inevitably parted ways, Hassan's audience was incredibly abrasive and horrible to Ethan and his wife. Gracious would have been to address that issue and attempt to rectify such vitriol. Granted, you can't always control your audience. On top of this, Hassan also says that Ethan spews a lot of liberal Zionist talking points. Keep in mind that Hassan really hates both of these groups almost equally. The reality is that when you're so far off the deep end, such as Hassan and his audience, of course you're going to view some self-preservative takes like the right to a homeland or events when Ethan tries to argue against anti-Semitism from Islamist extremist groups as Zionistic. People won't see the nuance here, and they won't realize the double standards of their beliefs. They'll just call Ethan a Zionist Islamophobe for criticizing anti-Semitic beliefs that are carried by terrorists that Hassan just so happens to sympathize with, which funnily enough already in this minute fits the denial, the deflection, and the obfuscation all in one right here. He denies he did anything wrong by being gracious and not calling him out, which is complete nonsense, and also obfuscating what occurred. And he deflects by accusing Ethan of being too intellectually limited to be talking about politics, and then accuses him of going on a right-wing tilt. This is ironic to say the least, considering there's hours upon hours of Hassan getting information wrong and acting like an emotional child when people call him on his bullshit.
Okay, if Ethan wants to talk to me, he can talk to me, okay? He doesn't have to fucking constantly cry as a 50-year-old adult with 3 children from behind an Instagram story, okay? You can talk to me in person, big dog. You got my fucking phone number. We can have a conversation on your stream. We can have a conversation on my stream. Last time, I had the fucking baby gloves on, and you cried like a bitch after doing Teddy Fresh ads in the midst of our genocide coverage. Okay? That's right. And I'm not talking about the Leftovers episode where he actually cried. That was a beautiful moment. And I was actually very wrong for thinking that actually meant something. It turned out it didn't mean shit for you at all. Okay? Because selfishly, you spent the next year constantly fucking ripping into, suspiciously, a lot of, not myself, but other people of color. I'm not calling myself a person of color. I know it's going to get clipped out of context here as well. And then you're going to be like, meh, 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 whatever. No, just noticing that you have just been going after a lot of people of color, Arabs, Muslims in general, just constantly fucking talking about how scary they are. You know, why are they so scary? I don't know, because maybe you're an Islamophobic moron who fucking retweets or basically tweets out Ben Shapiro quotes about Hamas. Maybe that's the reason why people think you're fucking super pro-Israel. Okay, maybe that's why. No fucking accountability. Okay, no accountability whatsoever.
Classic Hassan. Well, this guy is actually a Nazi type of deflection. Instead of engaging with the video at hand and engaging with the criticism, it's just, dude, look at you being suspiciously scared of all of those Arab people of color. It's funny because Ethan largely talked about two specific Arab individuals, one being a Houthi pirate that Hassan platformed, and the other being a notorious cry-bully Frogan. Keep in mind, Ethan does have the right to at least be someone perturbed by a Houthi individual, seeing that Houthis are quite literally anti-Jewish in their beliefs. Okay, these next two clips are going to speak for themselves because Ethan read him like a book.
One of the most cynical methods Hassan deploys to sidestep any criticism is to deflect to the ongoing genocide in Gaza. I've seen him do this so many times. He frames it like you are selfish for trying to criticize him, no matter what the reason is, because there's a genocide happening, man. How can you criticize me at a time like this?
Claiming that I am, too pro-Houthi. When someone is like focusing on that while there's an active fucking ethnic cleansing campaign happening. He also apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life. In the middle of fucking talking about fucking genocide in Gaza, and this dumb fuck. Blow your nose, brother. Love you. Not trying to be mean. Just keep some tissue nearby and clear it out occasionally when needed. Much love. Fuck you, dude. There are others who are just going to come in here and be like, well, I'm going to keep it real, man. You're just like avoiding accountability. Yeah, dude, I am pro-Palestine. That's it. I'm pro-Palestine. Okay. If that's fucking news to you, you are the dumbest baby on the planet. All right. I am pro-Palestine. I am anti-genocide. I am someone who is a leftist. Okay. I'm a leftist. I do not think capitalism is the final evolution of mankind. I think we can evolve beyond it. Okay? There are literally Guantanamo Bay facilities being set up right now. And if your number one thing is your favorite fucking 50-year-old content creator with 3 children and his endeavors for the past 6 months, you are a deeply unserious person.
Cool. Classic deflection, Hassan. Great response. We didn't see that one coming. You definitely won this one. It's almost comedic just how predictable Hassan is. It's like a punchline that you know is always going to land. There's nothing better than the good old Hassan system being played out in real time. At this point, is anyone really surprised that this is how Hassan addresses the situation? No, not at all. While Ethan's video does pretty much compile all of the biggest criticisms against Hassan, and while it is a good research piece to go into if you want to inform yourself about his poor conduct in terms of being a non-credible political commentator, there really wasn't anything new said here that hasn't already been talked about multiple times over and over in the past. So while it is funny and entertaining to watch Hassan crash out like this, and while it is a little bit cathartic to give some commentary on it, unfortunately there really isn't a lot to say here either. This reaction isn't at all surprising. In fact, this reaction is an expectation from Hassan at this point. No matter what anyone says, regardless of who it comes from, will always be met with this type of reaction, and his fans will just eat it up and call anyone who talks on this insane psychopaths that need to seek therapy. In conclusion, Hassan is a moron that can only behave like an unintelligent child and proved Ethan right. That's all I got for today. Later.